Football weather is in the air. Seafood is on the menu. We're at Fiddlers Southside, and you are tailgating with WTOC.
It was a Saturday no one saw coming.
Seymour gives Vanderbilt the lead.
And where it's taking this season is just as surprising.
Be a huge cushion for the Tigers for a trip to Atlanta.
The new kid in the SEC East is in control as the familiar favorites, the Bulldogs, the Gators, and the Gamecocks, look to get their seasons back under control.
Nobody likes to lose any game, but I'll tell you, this one hurt.
This is the week Georgia Southern can put a stamp on its season against a past and future rival, against Appalachian State, in a game that means more for status than in the SoCon standard.
Appalachian State, a great group. We just have to be ready whatever they throw at us.
The season's turning toward the home stretch, and you're tailgating with WTOC.
Good evening and welcome to Tailgating with WTOC. I'm Tim Guider alongside Cyria Sandlin, and we are at Fiddlers Southside for our 9th tailgating show of the season. Can you believe it, how fast this year is going?
Where has this season gone? I feel like we were just starting last week.
It was Labor Day last weekend, wasn't it?
We're more than halfway through the season, but it's a little bit chillier now.
Yeah.
Fall is in the air. We've got this beautiful fall setup around us. It's pretty nice.
We got some pumpkins back here.
Yeah.
How about that? We're ready for Halloween. We're ready for some seafood tonight, too.
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear some suggestions for
a little bit
tailgating.
of non-traditional tailgating options.
So we're also going to take a look at the history of the seafood industry in Savannah. I'm really interested to hear that.
Very alive, obviously, and thriving. I'm going to learn a little bit more because this restaurant kind of represents some of the old-time, Savannah seafood industry.
But mostly we're going to talk about football.
Of course. What a crazy weekend last weekend was.
Every year there's 1 week where we just sit back and say, what happened? Well, it was last week when favorites went down, traditional rivals lost, and then all of a sudden we've got teams leading divisions that we never saw coming.
And a lot of injuries as well.
Yeah, we've been having injuries all season, Georgia especially. There was also an issue with targeting calls last year. 4 of them in the SEC last week, 2 of them in the Georgia game that had a big impact, but then it was an issue all around, and they're still working on that rule. They don't think they know quite how to apply it just yet.
Yeah, and this week Georgia has a little bit of a break, probably very much needed. Like we said, all those players hurt, and then Georgia-Florida coming up.
That's right. That's in 2 weeks. But now we're going to take a look back at last week and just how it turned the entire SEC East upside down.
We're not winning. We're doing a lot of things wrong, so we got to fix that.
Well then, welcome to the club at the top of the SEC East, which is no longer the top of a division in upheaval.
They are in complete control of the SEC's Eastern Division.
Offense has responsibility, defense has responsibility, special teams have their responsibility as well. So we win as a team, we lose as a team.
The teams losing Saturday have represented the East in 7 of the last 8 SEC championship games. It's been 5 years since a team other than Georgia, Florida, or South Carolina has been at the Georgia Dome on the first Saturday of December. But with all 3 at least 2 games behind Missouri, they're chasing a newcomer and a new leader and trying to fix some of the same old problems.
Offense didn't play very well. Special teams just continues pushing the back, holding penalties on kick returns, which is it's sad. We can't teach them to play by the rules, but we can't do it.
The thing I just want to make sure that everybody understood that in Georgia we stick together. We're going to stay together, and we're going to. We got to do what we got to do as far as correcting and all that kind of thing. I mean, that's part of football.
We blew it, but we also, I just saw on ESPN that Florida and Georgia lost, so we just have to go out next week with a good spirit and just do our thing against Missouri.
Missouri is off to a 7-0 start. They have won each of those 7 games by at least 15 points, and this is a team that was in the preseason picked 6th in the SEC East. They're doing a little bit better than people expected. Well, when we talk about tailgating, we sometimes talk ribs, hamburgers, chicken, but seafood could be an option as well. Cyria is standing by with some folks who are going to tell us how to bring seafood into your next tailgate party.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Tim. You usually think of burgers, barbecue, all of those traditional foods, but we're going to talk about some different stuff. I'm right now joined by Mary Mills. She's the general manager of Live Oaks Restaurants, which includes Fiddlers here, Tubby's, all sorts of places known around town. And you have some options for people looking to kind of step outside the traditional tailgating box.
We do have some options. Seafood's a good partner for football. We've got raw oysters, which go great with cold beer, as everybody knows. We've also got a variation on something traditional, which is great for football, is nachos. Our seafood nachos have shrimp, blue crab, and lobster as well. We've got a low country boil, which can be packaged and taken home. So if you have a party on the way, you can come here, get a tray, take it home, and it'll be a great celebration for everybody watching the game. And then, of course, we've got our most popular item on the menu, our fried shrimp, which are domestic shrimp, and it's our, as I said, most popular item. We serve them buffalo. You can also get them steamed, and, seafood can partner well with football.
Yeah, and talking a little bit about that, sometimes it might be a little bit more difficult to travel with seafood when you're doing those tailgates. Do you have any advice for people looking to, take seafood with them?
Give us a call right when you're on your way. That way we can get it packaged up nice and hot, and you can take it right home. That way you're not waiting. The seafood can overcook if it sits in the box for too long.
As far as oysters go, obviously, keep those on ice.
Right, and the raw ones we can't send home with you. We have to cook them.
Well, better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
And what would you say is your most kind of popular dish?
Our most popular is the fried shrimp, but we recommend the nachos for those who don't eat seafood. We can also do them with chicken.
Great. Thank you very much,
Thank
Mary.
you.
Lots of interesting options here, and we will be right back after the break.
In the backfield for Georgia, first down.
Tailgatin with WTOC is sponsored by Ken Nugent. One call, that's all. And by your local Ford dealer. Go further. Shop FordNow.com.
In the state of Georgia, there's a legend of a man who has helped restore health and prosperity to tens of thousands of victims who have called his name. Over 250,000 free consultations. $420 million recovered. Ambulances chase him. He is your lawyer. His name is Ken.
One call, that's all.
Getting a job in healthcare is extremely competitive, and I needed an edge.
I believe what gave me my confidence is the in-depth and thorough preparation from this program.
What I really love about this program is that I get to work with real patients and get hands-on experience.
Armstrong is a very close-knit community. I've gained friends, colleagues, and mentorships that are going to last a lifetime.
You're going to like the teachers, you'll like the students, you'll like the campus. Everything about it's great. I'm starting strong and hitting the ground running.
This is my business.
I'm the owner and sole proprietor.
I only have one other employee, Chester.
It's a romantic notion. Be the boss, but you are alone.
Well, not technically alone.
I do have a lot of help, actually.
My UPS store.
I had this printed there.
Packing, shipping, help.
Outstanding.
Posters.
I have a mailbox there.
Best thing, they're right down the street.
The owner's a friend.
Forgot the account.
My team.
Yes! Careful now.
Welcome back to Tailgating. That is Jonathan Williams and Jeff Patton entertaining the crowd here at Fiddlers Southside. They've already been going at it for a couple hours.
Yeah, they've been here since about 6. They'll probably be here till around 9. It's a beautiful night for, some drinks, food, and fun.
Exactly. They're playing some great familiar songs.
Yeah, definitely. Big crowd pleasers.
All right, well, unfortunately, what's become familiar for the Georgia Bulldogs is losing.
That's right. 4-3 coming off a loss last week at Vanderbilt. Not very good.
Yeah, consecutive losses for the Dogs now. They are out of the top 25 for the first time since 2011. This is really not turning out to be the season that it looked like it was going to be just 3 weeks ago.
And sidelined by so many injuries. I mean, just key players that are hurt and hopefully maybe coming back soon.
Yeah, and that's really starting to take its toll on the offense. Last week was its lowest offensive output of the season. Aaron Murray's lowest passing total in his career. 48 starts at Georgia, his lowest passing total. He's just not familiar with these new receivers that he's got out there yet. And, they've also made a lot of other mistakes, too. They had special teams disasters again for probably the 5th time this year. Fumbled a punt. They had a bad snap on a punt. Mistakes pretty much every game in the special teams. And then they had those 2 very questionable targeting calls that we talked about. they really had an impact on the game because they lost a player in one, and then they had a fourth down stop overturned and gave Vanderbilt the ball back. But when it comes down to it, the Dogs still blew a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely, just got outplayed.
They can't do that. Well, you know, it's kind of a tough time for Georgia fans. They could be going a lot of directions. But earlier this week, I spoke to some local Georgia fans, and they say this is a very important time for Bulldogs to stay patient, stay loyal to the program.
Well, I mean, you know, we were in this predicament a few years ago, you know, 2 losses, and everybody was writing Georgia off. And, of course, you know, Coach Rick was able to get the team together, rally, come out and rattle off, you know, consecutive wins.
Well, you know, if you're a true fan, you believe in the Dogs if they win or lose. Obviously, we want them to win, and we want them to win out. Good news out of Athens is that Bennett's coming back for Florida, as is Gurley. You know, still the questions remain about the youth on defense.
All of a sudden, you know, you're starting to see a little ray of hope. So hopefully, you know, Georgia fans will have that to rally around. And you know what? Anytime you can beat Florida, anytime you can beat Georgia Tech, that's a successful season.
Well, Georgia and Florida both have the week off before they meet in Jacksonville in a couple of weeks. And we're at the point now where that is pretty much going to determine whether this is a successful season or not for the Dogs.
Yeah, well, you know who's kind of had a turnaround? Georgia Tech.
They absolutely did. Big win last week for the Jackets. When we come back, we're going to take a look at last week's game and also what's on tap for the Jackets this week.
Ain't no time to stash the gumbo or rattle around in a cage. The sacrifice jaws make bubbles. There's fiddlers everywhere in range. In the hot sands, I ran on my feet. The glycerin cake with debris. Chairs relays, starting the topo, what angry fills the glee.
In 45 years, the Vaden family has seen many car models come and go. But this year, one really caught my eye, and it's simply timeless. The all-new 2014 Impala LS is provocative yet athletic, and right now you can drive it home for as low as $229 a month. Go ahead, command performance. Come see us at 9393 Abercorn. After 45 years, our lasting impression is you.
Ms. Vergara. Sophia?
Main story tonight. Where is Sofia Vergara? The Hollywood star hasn't been seen since last week.
Where's Sophia?
Surprise! I have my rooms to go. Come see my brand new furniture collection. It just looks like $1 million.
CBS Tonight. Some brides run, some get caught.
Her running might not be a case of cold feet.
Yeah.
Weddings, every time it's a bad idea.
You wonder why you divorced. New Hawaii Five-0, then a new power player.
Inspector General Peterson.
I have enormous respect for law enforcement.
Just not the NYPD. Butts heads in New York.
If that's my cue to leave, I'm staying.
So am I. BB Newworth guest stars. New Blue Bloods after Hawaii Five-0. CBS Tonight.
One of the things people tell me all the time is how helpful the staff is at International Diamond Center. That's because everyone is a certified diamondologist with the knowledge and expertise to educate and inform. Whether you're a soon-to-be bride and groom, a husband looking for a unique present, or treating yourself to a special gift, we always take a low-pressure, friendly approach to finding you the perfect jewelry piece to fit your budget. International Diamond Center. Better selection and value guaranteed.
Welcome back to Tailgating, live from Fiddler Southside. Tim Guider and Saria Sandlin taking a look back at last week, a look ahead to this week, and what a week it was for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
That's right, beating Syracuse 56-0. Paul Johnson probably breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief after that win.
Yeah, that was the Tech's biggest margin of victory in the ACC by 17 points in their history. So that kind of got them back on track. They, of course, were coming off a 3-game losing streak. They got that turned around. You know what this also proves? This proves that these players are coachable. Because Paul Johnson all last week stressed to cut down on penalties. The Jackets had 0 penalties for the first time since 1968 last week. What a game. They were just really were all over Syracuse from the start. Now this week they head up to play Virginia, who's 2-5, and Tech should be able to handle them, but this is a game that 2 years ago, Tech went up there ranked 6-0 and lost to Virginia, so they're not going to be taking the Cavaliers lightly. And even with this season, when it wasn't going well for the Jackets, the mood never dipped in that Georgia Tech locker room.
It's very positive. I mean, I haven't saw one person down. I mean, you know, after a loss, people are down, but it's never carried over. Like, people bounce back very fast, so that's a good thing to have in the locker room.
Getting ready to go up to Charlottesville to play a Virginia team who's got their back up against the wall. I think they've played a really tough schedule early on, and I know that they've got some quality athletes.
Well, everybody knows Georgia Tech is a big play offense, and that might be bad news for Virginia tomorrow because they've given up 38 plays of 20 yards or more in their last 3 games, and Tech can get some big plays up on you. I want you to take a look at something else now. This is what's great about college football, the way fans can get into it with each other. Taking a look at a picture here of Ansley Williams, the owner of Fiddlers and Live Oak Restaurant Group. This is how Ansley showed up to greet some Georgia fan friends of his. Ansley, of course, a big Georgia Tech fan. He's dressed as a Commodore. Why? Well, because the Vanderbilt Commodores took it to Georgia last week, and he just wanted to remind them of that. And I am joined now by Ansley Williams, and that's pretty much sums up college football, doesn't it?
Absolutely, Tim. It's a very special weekend for the Georgia Tech fans when Georgia Tech wins and the Bulldogs lose, albeit very unusual. But we take great pleasure in it. I go out to the quarterback club every Monday and I have a really good time giving the sheriffs out there, the quarterback club, the Honorable Walter Korish and the not so honorable Charlie Russo, a good hard time when we're out there. And there's a room full of Georgia fans. And last weekend, South Carolina lost, Florida lost, Clemson lost, and Georgia lost, and Tech was really basically the only winner that was a member of the club. So
it was a good time to be a Yellow Jacket. Well, how are you looking at the season so far? You could look at it, maybe they lost the games that you might have expected them to lose. They've beaten the teams they were supposed to beat. Is this team right on schedule?
Well, I don't know about on schedule, but they made a huge recovery last weekend, and they went from having 11 penalties on offense the week before to having none this past weekend, and that is essential to Paul Johnson's offense. And we still got a lot of confidence in Paul Johnson. He did a great job at Georgia Southern, and he's done a good job at Georgia Tech, and we're still proud to have him up there, and especially when we're winning,
Yeah, there were maybe the slightest of whispers earlier in the year that he might be in trouble, but I think he's turned that around. He's, as I said, he said no penalties last week, and they had no penalties, so the kids are listening to him.
Well, he's a very, very great coach, and the kids are coachable, so they're listening to him, and he's getting good results. So we'll see. Winning is the name of the game, and if you keep winning, then it's job security. It's kind of like you putting a smile on TV. You get to keep your job.
Well, the one thing I want to mention to you also is I know there's a dress code at the quarterback club. Jacket and tie. Did the Commodore suit match, or are you going to be paying a fine next week?
I get fined every week for something or other. And I know Sonny Dixon's a Florida Gator fan, and and we've been missing him at the club here lately, but. I can't. That's an expensive club to be a member of when you throw out as much grief as I do.
Well, Ansley, thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing from you in a little while about the history of seafood in Savannah, the industry here. Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, it's a very special part of our deal.
All righty. Well, Georgia Southern is back on the field after a week off. One of their biggest weeks of the year. They're going up to Boone to play Appalachian State. When we come back on Tailgating, we'll take a look at the Eagles and the Mountaineers.
Save big on any one of over 176 Camrys or Corollas in stock at Savannah Toyota today, where we've discounted every one up to $4,800 or offering 0% financing. Savannah Toyota, Southeast Georgia's #1 new and used car dealer, serving you since 1989.
I got hurt in a car wreck and the insurance company tried to trick me into a tiny settlement. No way was it enough. I got hospital bills to pay and I need a car. I told them I deserved more. I'm calling Ken Nugent.
I made the insurance company pay him a lot more than their original offer. Don't let your insurance settlement go up in smoke. Call me right now.
My case was worth $300,000.
I'm attorney Ken Nugent. Now, I can't guarantee what your case is worth, but if you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. One call, that's all.
Call 1-800-CALL-KEN.
is the time of the year to save at Kennedy's Precision Air Conditioning and Heating. Right now at Kennedy's, take advantage of Train's unstoppable fall promotion. Purchase a qualifying Train system from Kennedy's before November 15th and get 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus an up to $1,000 trade-in allowance, plus take advantage of tax credits up to $500. Don't let these offers pass you by. And remember, it's hard to stop a train. Call Kennedy's Precision Air Conditioning and Heating today.
Save big on any one of over 82 Tundras at Tacoma's in stock at Savannah Toyota today, where we've discounted every one up to $8,000. Or buy with 0% financing. Savannah Toyota, Southeast Georgia's #1 new and used car dealer, serving you since 1989.
Welcome back to Tailgating. We are live at Fiddlers South Side, and I'm going to say welcome back to the Georgia Southern Eagles after their second open date of the season last week.
Yeah, that's right. They're able to get some rest. Now they tackle one of their biggest rivals, App State, and heading up to Boone.
Absolutely. You know, they didn't get any healthier last week. They were really banged up, but they are rested. Jeff Munkin says they were able to get rested, and that's going to be important. Appalachian State, not necessarily what you expect them to be. Only one win this year for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, so might not be the toughest game of the season, but definitely for Georgia Southern, a big deal.
It'll be one of the biggest because App might be their biggest rival, and you know, this is the first time since 2009 that one of these two teams was not ranked #1 for this game. Only the Eagles are ranked. They're number 24. App has fallen on hard times. They are 8th in the SoCon in scoring, last in rushing, 6th in total defense. You do not expect that from Appalachian State. And the Eagles, of course, are moving. This was from the last time they played in Paulson Stadium. And this, you know, the first win over App State that Jeff Munkin had is probably still his signature win. And now they go up there tomorrow. It's not going to be as cold as they thought, and the Eagles are not underestimating their rival one bit.
Anytime Georgia Southern App State meets up, it's a fierce rivalry game, and it's going to be a good one. So, you know, we expect nothing less than that. So all we can do is just get ready and prepare for battle.
You know, even with their record, you know, you got to take App State seriously. You know, they come out every time with some new tricks, new plays. You know, they gonna come after us just like we're gonna come after them. So hopefully it's a good game.
It's the same Appalachian State, the same things that have made them dangerous every year, the same things that'll make them dangerous on Saturday. We're gonna have to defend them, and we're gonna have to try to run the ball against them and block them, and that's not easy against very talented players like they have.
Well, tomorrow is the first of 5 games in 5 weeks for the Eagles, a final push that will also include Furman and Florida, so it will pretty much dictate what kind of year the Eagles have. Well, Ansley was such a star in the last segment when we talked to him. We're going to talk to him again. Cyrie's standing by. We're going to hear a little about the history of the seafood industry in Savannah.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Tim. You know, Fiddler's Seafood is kind of paying homage to that. You take a look at this, you guys got pictures all over. It's like traveling back in time when you come out here.
It really is. And, you know, Savannah has an incredible history of hard-working families in this industry. And we were able to get some unbelievable pictures of the seafood industry, and we blew them up into bigger-than-life wall photos and that sort of thing. And it really is a tribute to the L.P. Majoni family, the Henry Ambos family, the A.S. Varn family, and the Alec Barbie family, and they've just done so much for this community and building an industry. I mean, back in the day, in the 30s and 40s, Savannah was shipping out 25 to 30,000 pounds a day in shrimp and crab meat, and we have a great display of the pictures and stuff that are all through the restaurant that are really, really special to us.
And how do you hope to continue that legacy?
Well, hopefully we're going to keep on selling seafood. That's my intent anyway, you know. And we have an incredible staff that works so hard to maintain the freshness and the quality of the product. And we buy as much fresh seafood as we possibly can. The shrimp is all local or in the Gulf or the Atlantic, and we don't get any imported shrimp. We get fresh seafood, fresh fish that we catch offshore, and that's really how we got started. My partner Stan Strickland was a fisherman, and he was catching so much fish that we couldn't. He was giving it away. I said, I got a better plan for that.
Let's sell it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ansley. We will be right back after the break, tailgating live from Fiddler's Seafood.
Thank you, Saria.
it like to own a Nissan Altima? At Vaden, we showcase models that combine intelligent technology and luxury. Drive one and you'll know that outstanding performance and efficient gas mileage are possible. Vaden has 2013 Nissan Altimas for only $18,500 or just $179 a month. Shop at Vaden with 3 Nissan locations: Savannah, Hinesville, and Statesboro. Nissan is innovation that excites. At Vaden, the choice is yours.
Getting the most out of life, it starts by getting the most out of college.
The science programs at Armstrong are geared to get you in the game.
They really make sure you have the research and network opportunities to take you to the next level.
We get to operate high-end equipment that students at other schools don't.
I've only been in school for 2 years, and I'm already doing grad-level research.
At Armstrong, I can definitely assure you that I've come to my own. I just became somebody that I'm very excited to be. I'm starting strong.
It's fun to mix it up with Ashley Furniture Home Store's The Works 14-piece room package event. Mix and match 14 pieces to create your complete living room. 14 pieces starting at just $8.99. Thousands of room combinations. Design your bedroom the same way. Mix and match 14 pieces starting at only $8.99. Personalize your own look or let us do the work for you with items customized by our designers. The 14-piece room package event at Ashley Furniture Home Store.
If your 9 to 5 is made up of concrete and metal, you need to be confident in your truck. Chevy Silverado's coverage plan says it all. It's the best pickup coverage in America with 2 years of scheduled maintenance. And that's the kind of metal that Ram and Ford just aren't made of.
Learn more at the Silverado vs. All event. See your local Chevy dealer. Now get an introductory lease offer on this Silverado double cab for around $319 per month.
Welcome back to Tailgating. It's college football tomorrow, but tonight it's high school.
That's right, the Friday Night Lights. Of course, our End Zone team is out right now, getting all those games. Plenty of coverage coming up after the news at 11. But right now, we've got a little bit games right now. We're going to get to some scores. We got Statesboro up 7-0 over South Effingham.
That's right, and that's a big game. Statesboro undefeated this year. It's 7-0. They're trying to go undefeated all year. Another big game today, Liberty County traveling to Wayne County. We're going to take a look at that one on the End Zone. And also Calvary is home against Claxton. You can get all of your results, all of your highlights tonight, 11:30 on the End Zone. Rick Snow, Ken Greiner, Christina Tuso, the whole End Zone
team. The whole
team.
Group. They will be out there getting those games, having those scores, and keeping you updated.
And then tomorrow, 3:30, the SEC on WTOC. Tomorrow's game is Tennessee at Alabama. Maybe a little bit of a mismatch. Alabama seems to be rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, they are still undefeated, but Tennessee has had a pretty decent season as well.
Tennessee's coming off its biggest win in about 5 or 6 years, beating South Carolina last week. Well, it's been a fun show here, and it's going to be a great week of college football. Lots of seafood. Some great ideas for seafood at Tailgating.
Very inspired to kind of step outside of the box now.
Exactly. Hey, you don't want to go away without mentioning tomorrow, Savannah State homecoming.
That's right.
2 o'clock against North Carolina Central. Well, thank you so much for joining us. For Cyrus Sandlin, Tim Guider saying good night from Fiddlers Southside and Tailgating with WTOC.